Mash is a strong boy who lives in a society where magic determines one's social status. Mash is an outcast because he can't use magic, which is a shame. Mash made a deal with Brad to get into the most prestigious magic school in the country. Mash beat his classmate in the broom race, but he did it in a strange way. Unfortunately, he was soon picked on by a bully and the school's unfair justice system. He stood up for his friend against the bully anyway. Surprisingly, the principal notices what he does and thinks Mash could become a divine visionary who can change the world. Mash is forced to take part in the duelo competition because he did so well in the broom race. He can't fly, though. Mash can't take part in the broomstick sport in the air because it requires magic, which he doesn't have. People get mad because they think he's not taking the game seriously. Tom, the team captain, comes up to him and talks nonsense and puts words in Mash's mouth. Mash thinks he might be high on something because his ramblings don't make much sense. Even so, Tom explains how to play the game, which involves passing a ball through that ring in the air for a point. Using magic is not allowed at all. Tom, who is a good duelist himself, sees Mash's potential and asks him to join the team. But before Tom can get back into the game, a player from the other team crashes into him, hurting him badly. "Ah, Lord Tom, last year's MVP, the girls squeal." He says he's sorry and that it was an accident. The team is behind by 40 points, Tom is hurt and can't move, and there isn't much time left in the game. But Tom still shares his wise words with Mash. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. What matters is that you did your best. The Langdorm is 50 points ahead, but Mash is not going to give up. He grabs his broom, holds it tightly, and jumps, surprising everyone with his ability to fly. In fact, he's just moving his legs so fast that he seems to float. Mash asks for a pass, but the Langdorm laughs at him because they know he can't beat them. As they come at him, Mash swings and throws the ball so hard that it knocks them off their brooms and scores a point. People are shocked. Even though Mash is behind by 49 points and time is running out, he doesn't give up. The ball comes back to him like a boomerang right before it goes out of bounds. Mash gives the ball a spin with a flick of his finger, scores another point, and gets the ball back. I mean, it's not humanly possible is kind of a worn-out phrase at this point. He does that so quickly that the time doesn't even matter because the score is already in 3 digits and can't go higher than 999. The crowd is happy and a little bit confused. Mash's goals are the highest they've ever been, and everyone got a silver coin. Why is it a triangle, though? Finn is happy for him, but he won't do that again. Suddenly, Tom walked up to him with a mad face and thanked him for being a good bamboo. Mash's performance was so interesting that the newspaper wrote about him. In his interview, Mash says that Tom's enthusiastic support was a big reason for his success. Lance, who is reading the paper, remembers Mash from the entrance exam, where he took a chance on failing to help a stranger. He thinks Mash is a fool and looks at his pendant to see that Mash is next. The next day, Tom invites Mash to practice dueling with him, and Lemon asks him to study with her. Both of them are trying to convince him that they can do great things together, but all he wants is to be left alone. He acts like he's asleep when he asks Finn for help. Traitor. Lance suddenly walks up to the group and says he wants to join in the fun. Tom is immediately on guard because he has never seen Lance before, and the fact that he has 2 marks shows that he is a strong mage. On the other hand, Lemon knows that Lance was the best first-year student based on how he did on the entrance exam. Even though she thinks he's pretty, she's already in love with Mash. Mash doesn't seem to be having much fun, so Lance suggests they do something fun. Mash first thinks about playing hide-and-seek, but Lance shows up with a magic bottle and, after opening it, traps Mash's friends inside. Lance then tells Mash that if he wants to free his friends, he needs to meet him in the forest by the owl's hut. And then, he was gone. Mash is in the forest and wants to know what's going on. Lance wants to make a bet. He also wants to see things from God's point of view. Lance is bad news, and Tom knows it. Most people in the world only use 1 line of magic, but there are a few who use more than 1 mark. Double-line magic users. 1 in 100,000 times, they show up in this world. Thought to have been picked by the magic itself. Lance wants to bet each other's silver coin, and the loser stops or gives up when he or she can't go on. This school doesn't allow any other kind of magic battle. If Mash wants to free his friends, he has no choice but to agree. Like on the entrance exam, they used his weakness to help people. Lance is arrogant and sure that he is already going to win. He could never lose to someone who puts other people before themselves. Mash is tired of him talking and can't wait to start the fight. Lance wants to see how long Mash can keep this attitude up, but first he builds an arena to make things easier. In the same forest, Brad and Regrow are wondering how their prodigy is doing when they hear a huge crash and see the ground changing. They are stunned by the sight. Lance puts on a show of magic, but Mash still charges at him. But it won't be easy to win against Lance without using magic. Lance uses his graviole spell to throw Mash to the ground. He tells Mash that even though he has a silver coin, he has no goals and that he will be the one to become the divine visionary. Lance says that it's pointless to try to stand up because no human can handle this gravity. Still, he grabs some roots and pushes Lance back, which breaks the spell. From above, Mash laughs at him. This makes Lance angry, so he casts graviole again. But this time, Mash doesn't back down. Instead, he stands his ground and attacks faster, knocking Lance's pendant off in the process. As he looks at it, he sees a picture of a little girl and whispers, "Lale Khan." Mash wants to call the police, but Lance tells him that he has a sister complex, which isn't much better. Which made Mash throw back the pendant. Lance wants to know what is the most important thing in his life. Freedom, love, and cream puffs. Wrong, wrong, wrong. It sends Lance into a tailspin, even though the answer is as clear as 2 + 2 is 3. What would you say, really? Lance's little sister is the most important thing. Everyone has different things they care about, right? Creepy. Lance walks to the edge of the cliff and holds the magic bottle on the edge. He will drop the bottle and use his magic to make it fall faster. Lance knows that Mash will try to save them, so he will attack when he does. Lance has a strong love for his sister Anna. He talks about how he once got beat up while trying to help a kid who was being bullied. This made Anna sad, but she was proud of her brother for being so brave. He cares very much about Anna. But she has a disease that can't be cured and makes her lose her magic power and mark. Doctors say she won't live more than 5 years. Once Anna loses her powers, their parents will have to give her to the government. Instead of showing sympathy, Lance's mother is upset that such a girl was born into their family. This makes Lance so angry that he doesn't even like his own parents anymore. He blames the corrupt system on the Bureau of Magic. To save Anna's life, he is determined to become the divine visionary. So, he lets go of the bottle and casts the graviole spell, which speeds up the fall. Mash is wearing his training clothes when he looks back. Calling out hamstring magic, Big Bang Dash. Lance is shocked because he has never heard of magic like this before. Mash doesn't have the choice of either losing or not saving. He runs forward quickly, but by the time Lance tries to find him, Mash is back with the bottle. Even though it's a cliché, Lance thinks this is impossible, but he can't give up now. Mash wants to stop the duel because Lance doesn't seem like a bad person, and because the bottle is empty, it shows that it was a fake. Mash runs to Lance and starts looking through him. He finds the bottle. Lance doesn't understand why Mash doesn't want to keep fighting, since winning would have given him a valuable silver coin. Mash's tendency to be clumsy shows that he has trouble making decisions that make sense. Lance remembers that his sister said similar things about him. Even though they were at odds at first, Lance agrees to keep the bet and gives Mash the silver coin in the shape of a pizza. Mash thinks about what would have happened if they had really fought. After he freed his friends from the trap, they went back to bothering him. Mash realizes that it would have been smarter to open the bottle when they got back to the academy.